Hey girl, hey! Sarah and Lexi, so sexy.
That's great.
What was something else you said? You know what I'm talking about? It's okay if you don't.
That's like so delusional.
I could probably just do this all day.
Oh my god. I love this.
Girl. Bye!
Hair. Becky's butt. Hey girlies, welcome to Talk Girlie to Me, the podcast for the girls who overshare, overthink, and overachieve. We're your hosts, Sarah and Lexi. We're diving into anything from creativity to wellness to work and everything in between. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast. Sarah and I are going to be talking about social media today. So everything from what it is, how it's used, what we think about it, and how it can be leveraged for your business or creative endeavors. So without further ado, we can jump into what social media is today. So as most of you probably already know, social media has become one of the leading digital marketing channels with over 4.9 billion people worldwide using it. So that means 75% of the world's population aged 13 and older use social media. So with all of those people that are using it, each person also spends an average of 2 hours and 28 minutes to be exact on social media every day across the globe. And the average user will visit 7.2 social media platforms every month. So that's a lot of usage.
Wow. Yes. Thank you, Lexi, for reviewing that. She has actually studied this and written a paper about it, so it's pretty cool.
Finally coming in handy. Many papers were written. Lots of research was done. So those statistics are pretty recent. That's from late last year. So it's still relevant to today to give us an idea of really how many people are using it and why it is so effective, or why it can be so effective for businesses.
Also want to mention that even though it is a very effective place to market your business, I also don't want people to forget that it is also an option to market in other ways, such as word of mouth is a huge one. Just getting out there and being in person and creating that in-person connection with another human being is so much more personal. It creates a loyal customer base as well. So you're really creating that like one-on-one relationship with somebody, especially if you have a good memory and you're able to remember their name, just their first name, and maybe one fact about them. For me, I would always try to remember people's like favorite color or favorite color to wear. So I remember there was this lady who would come in, and I think her name was Maria, but she would always come in and look for
Shout
mustard.
out Maria.
Shout out Maria. She would always come in and look for mustard colored clothing because that was her husband's favorite color for her to wear. So I would go, and when I was shopping at secondhand stores or upcycling, I kind of went out of my way to like make mustard clothing for her in hopes that she would come back and buy something that was mustard colored. But it did not happen. But I think it's still a good philosophy to have, because you want to take inventory of what is going to sell, what colors people are buying, or all that stuff. So
Definitely. And that's a great point to bring up. And we did touch on that a little bit in our episode about networking as well. So it does help to connect with the people that are supporting your business in a special way.
Yes. And attending networking events as well. I used to be part of the Plymouth Chamber of Commerce. And they offered a lot of networking events that I could go to. And it's just like a big mingling room. There's just all these people in there with a name tag, and you're really just passing out business cards and having a drink. Normally there's like a buffet of food. So I would do that just to create more contacts, or sometimes I would even end up meeting somebody that needed a dress to be altered or something, so then they would take my number down and I would have a job. So you never know like what is going to lead you to what. So even though social media is so important, I think we need to remember that it is not the only way.
Right. There are other avenues. And with that said, going to events like the one you attended is professional, but it's still personable. And I think that's a huge point to talk about today, because I know, especially with our generation and the generation after us, and maybe even before us, I feel like everyone's just starting to kind of catch on to marketing schemes and how corporations have been advertising to us for years. And it's kind of run its course. And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my personal opinion, it feels like people are tired of being bombarded with ads, and they really just want to feel like they're being talked to by a friend. Like they want to be able to relate.
I just did the tongue clicking. Sorry, side note, Lexi and I were editing our podcast for the first time the other day, and we noticed how much we tongue click, and now I'm super aware of it. Anyway,
I'm hyper aware of it. I do it in real life all the time, and I had never realized that before.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it even comes from, but anyway, to respond to you, what was the last thing you said? Sorry.
So I really feel like people are craving a different sort of attention from businesses and companies. And whereas ads and certain types of marketing used to work in the past, it's not as effective now because people feel like they're being lied to, or that it's a facade, or that it's fake. And they want something a little bit more real, something a little bit more relatable.
Right. So that's what I was going to say, is how when you go on Instagram, and I'm just, or Facebook, you can really on any of the social media, you don't even realize it. But I would argue every single reel, every post you look at is an advertisement, but you don't always know that. And I think that is the art in advertising. There is an art to it. So, for example, I was watching a reel. It was this comedian. I can't remember her name right now, but she is so funny, and she does like quick cuts too, which is candy for the vision, because you don't have to have too much of an attention span for it. And she's advertising this like seltzer alcohol drink, and I had no idea until I was like 45 seconds into the reel, and I was like, wait a minute. She's holding this like seltzer vodka drink the whole time. But I'm laughing my butt off watching it. So yeah, I think
that's how you know it was done well.
Yeah, it was done very well. So I think that's a good point. People want to feel like they're not watching an advertisement. So there's an art in I don't even know if it's too strong of a word to use, but almost a manipulation on the product. Like if it's funny enough.
Professional manipulation.
Yeah, professional manipulation. It's like if it is funny enough, or it convinces me that it's going to make me happier or elevate my life somehow, then I will buy into it.
Definitely.
So.
There's a lot of psychology that goes into marketing. And when you start reading about it, when you start researching it, when you start studying it, it becomes very clear that there are a lot of psychologists that are behind a lot of the marketing schemes. And not even just schemes. I don't want to call it too much. I don't want to just call it a scheme, because some are effective and they do work. And it's not just about tricking people into buying your product, but a lot of psychology does go into it to be persuasive.
So Lexi, I have a question for you. Do you have a marketing scheme when it comes to social media?
I wish I did. Honestly, it's something I am still learning and trying to figure out. And when it comes to social media, especially, I feel like it's always changing. The goalpost is always being moved. The algorithm is really hard to pin down. And something that worked last year or even last month may not even be effective or relevant today. So it's something that I feel is really hard to get a grasp on. Even people who are really skilled in that area, I feel like it's even a challenge for them sometimes.
So earlier you did mention a conspiracy theory about social media. So to me, I feel that this is kind of your marketing scheme in a way. So I do feel that you did tap into something a little bit.
All right. So Sarah's right. Off record, earlier before we started recording, I did mention an opinion I have about social media. And this is, I don't know if it's confirmed. I don't know if anybody else has this suspicion. And take it with a grain of salt. But in my experience with social media, when I was posting less often, let's say I was posting once every 1 to 3 months, I got a lot more engagements than I do now when I'm posting once or twice a week. And this is specifically Instagram and Facebook that I'm talking about right now, because I know that they can get a lot of profit from buying ads, from boosting posts, from promoting with your money. So my theory is that the less often you post, if you come out of nowhere and post something, they will automatically boost that higher than other posts, because if they notice that you're posting very, very often, that usually means that you are trying to promote something or you're trying to be noticed. And it kind of seems like they take advantage of that and they suppress your posts so that you have to pay to boost them.
I really hope that is true, because that will work in my benefit, honestly, since I have not personally posted or business wise posted since I think January. So, and that I want to say is because I am taking time right now to do a couple things. I'm rebranding. I'm taking time to learn a little bit more about business and furthering my knowledge. I'm also stacking up my savings again so that when I come back into the business world and rebuilding serendipity, I'll probably have a new name for it by the time I come back on social media to announce everything I've been working on, because I really want to get everything prepared first before I announce anything. And then I'll launch it all. And that will be great, because if it's been 6 months or even a year since I've posted, and then I post something, I'm hoping that just like shoots through and just hits everybody's screens who's scrolling that day or week or whatever.
Yeah, and again, it's just a theory, but I have a feeling that your first post you make once you come back will probably do really well, because the platforms want to incentivize you and encourage you to post again, to chase that carrot. And I know TikTok does the same thing. So to an extent, it has been confirmed that, these social media platforms will suppress your posts to a certain extent. But that's not to say that it's recommended to post far and few between, because to be relevant, you do have to continue to put yourself out there, because back to the short attention spans, people will forget about you, unfortunately. Because there's just a lot of information out there. There's a lot of other people out there who are also fighting for the spotlight. So with that said, I'm not discouraging people from putting money into their marketing and promotions, because I'm sure in certain circumstances it is beneficial if you're strategic about it.
Yes, I actually used to do that a lot. I would do such a small amount of money. Sometimes I'd put like $20 or $30 into promoting a post. I'd say it helps like 10, 20%, not, anything that it's hard to say if it's worth it. I think it's more worth it to find a third party advertiser to help you advertise your post or your Instagram, just some real help outsourcing that's not directly through Instagram, in my opinion.
I do agree. Yeah. I don't have anybody in particular that I would recommend, but through research, I'm sure there are plenty of companies out there who are trained to do that specifically, who probably went to school for it and are certified to do that kind of work. Whereas I probably only know the very surface of what goes into marketing and promoting myself. So I'm with you. To make my life easier, I'm not going to try to do everything myself. I'm definitely going to outsource.
Yes, outsourcing is encouraged. Do not try to do everything yourself. If you are thinking about starting up a business or you're currently working on a business, you will burn out eventually. There is no shame in finding help.
I was just going to mention, we touched on this in our episode of balancing work and play. So to get a few other more ideas on how to do that, you can go listen to our episode on balancing work and play to see, what other options are out there for you not to be burnt out before you even reach your success.
Yes, that is perfect. Actually, yeah, I completely forgot that we did touch on that. That's awesome. Also, to direct us into talking about a few apps that may help you, this is my plan and what I'm going to do with Serendipity. Once I rebrand it, I want to be using Canva. Canva is really great. If you are not a graphic designer, you can go on there and just kind of plug and play whatever you want your post to be, and what aesthetic it might match. It's great. And then also I plan to use Planopoly. Planopoly is an app where you can plan all of your posts, and I quite literally just want to plan them a month in advance. So that way I do not have any need to go on social media for the month. I can just let that shit just post itself and have it be done. That way I'm not tempted, because personally I do get tempted to get lost in the reels. And I will say the past 2 weeks I have been having some trouble, and I actually really was not aware of it until Harlan, my partner, said something to me. He was like, you're on your phone all the time or something. And I was like, oh, am I really? He's like, yeah, but it's not like bothering me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but that's bothering me. I should not be on my phone that much. And also I feel like it does affect my mood. I start to be like more anxious and like more just like in a bad mood. I don't even know what the psychology is behind it, but I do feel it affect my brain. So I started, and I used to do this. I don't know why I got out of the habit of doing it, but I now just, oh, that's why, because my alarm is on my phone. So when I was working my other job, I would have to have I'd sleep with my phone, so it would wake me up in the morning. But now I don't need to do that. I'm back to kind of being self-employed right now. So I plug my phone into a completely different room that's on the other side of my apartment. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't have the choice to pick up my phone. I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth first thing like a normal person, and go make myself breakfast. And doing like those few things just motivated me to do something productive. So I actually opened up one of my business books and started taking notes to learn more about business. So it's amazing what you can achieve if you just get out of bed instead of picking up your phone and scrolling. So definitely working on not making that a habit again.
So it sounds like Canva will help you consolidate your time a little bit in making your social media posts. And then the other app that you mentioned, what was it called again?
Planopoly.
And then Planopoly will help you schedule everything at once so that you have the rest of the month free to really use that time to focus on other things that may matter a little bit more, or that can help you with your business, such as reading.
Yes. And I want to say one of the things I read today is the best thing that you can do for your business and yourself is find ways to save your time. Do not waste your time trying to do everything. There's a saying, work smarter, not harder. Seriously.
And time is money. That's another saying.
Oh, yeah, time is money, right?
No, I absolutely agree. Consuming social media can take a lot of time, but also planning and creating it does take a lot of time. I know I mentioned previously that sometimes I'll spend 1 to 2 hours a day just focusing on different aspects of social media. And that's a good way for me to kind of break it down and not become too overwhelmed by what I need to do or what I want to do in order to promote myself. But using tools like you mentioned definitely does help.
Yes, any outsource you have. And also, take a look at your network and see who of your friends or acquaintances, or if anybody can give you help with whatever it is you need. I sometimes forget, like, oh, my best friend's a photographer. He has a studio and all the equipment. I can just go and use him for some help.
Yeah. So on that note, I have a question for you. You had mentioned that you have tried using the advertisements within Meta, so Facebook, Instagram, before for your posts to help promote or boost them. Do you remember any of the parameters that you set or the certain settings or audience that you tried to reach using that?
Yes, so I could create my own audience. You could like save it in their settings. So it was only like 4 questions. I almost wish there was more that you could set to, but I think it was the first one would be like location, how many miles out. So because my brick and mortar is in Plymouth, I would set it to Plymouth. And then I think I would do like 50 miles out from Plymouth. And then I would put down like interests would be sustainability, women, because I only had women's wear at the time when I was using it, and zero waste. Like I would put down like different hashtags. And then another one was age, right? So the demographics of like age. I think that was all that was on there. So,
And did you
you
find
could
that it was very effective?
no. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think it was 10 or 20% effective, but not, and that, I don't know if that's a user error. Like maybe I could have had a better setting, but I really feel that you're better off just hiring a human being or someone else on Instagram that could help you out with it, because your money is going to be way more useful doing that. So if you have only like $20 to spend on marketing, I would suggest just saving that, like putting that aside, saving it. Okay, maybe you have another 10 or $20, save it. And then once you have $100 or, whatever it is, then go and like pay somebody to help you out with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It can be pretty daunting, and especially when you don't have something that can really narrow down your audience too much, it does leave a broader funnel for people to go through. And that kind of leads me to my next point. I want to talk about how companies and businesses, entrepreneurs, they will use something called a marketing integration. So social media is included in marketing integration because that's something that companies use. They'll integrate social media into their marketing promotions by mixing it in and funneling the traffic from their social media to their landing pages, or they'll run contests to grow email lists. They'll use social media platforms to provide customer service by responding to people asking questions or feedback or concerns. And then there's also other integrations that include adding their social sharing buttons and their social media icons that link to their business's social networks. So they'll put that in email templates or their website. So that'll help convert the social followers to their email contacts, which then they can incorporate campaign hashtags, or they can use more traditional marketing towards them. And then they can carry over other types of marketing campaigns into their social media platforms and promotions, such as like special offers, discounts, or using customer ratings and reviews on company websites. They can take their website content, such as all the pictures or videos or blogs, and then they can recycle it and put that on social media.
Yes, that was a huge help. You just reminded me actually that when I started collecting Google reviews, and I have really awesome friends because I had a couple friends give me a review on Google, that helped a lot
I was one
because,
of them.
yes, you were. Thank you so much. It helped a lot because people would come in and they would go out of their way to come to my shop because of those reviews. Because that's, I mean, when you think about what you do, when you go research a restaurant you want to go to, the first thing you look at is the reviews and the ratings before you go. So
Oh,
because
yeah. I want to know what the people are saying. I want to know the tea. I want to know the gossip. What's going on?
it was, yeah, I did start getting more customers when that started being a thing for me. So thank you to anybody and Lexi who left me a nice review and made me 5-star.
Definitely. The social proofing aspect of it is very important. And I know that some people try to achieve that through inflating their numbers or, their bots. Bot accounts are such a big issue right now with social media where sometimes you don't even know if what you're seeing is true or if it's been inflated by something. But when you do have that social proofing, it really does help. It not only boosts you through the algorithm, but it also gives you that credibility among other people.
Yes. Agreed. It's almost similar to word of mouth. People just are going to trust their friends and the people that they know. So that's why it's word of mouth is so strong, and good reviews and what other people are saying about you, keeping the integrity of your business and keeping true to yourself is going to help.
Right, exactly. That's a great example to show how it bleeds into social media. Word of mouth is on social media as well in its own way. So it still is really relevant and effective. Another thing, back to the marketing integration between social media and other digital marketing, is when you do go to place ads and you are choosing the specifics of something, you also want to think about the call to action, the intention of the social media post. So, for example, you could just have a picture and then you could boost it to try to get more views on that picture. But if your only intention is to boost the views and likes, it's really not going to do much for you, because without a call to action, people are going to see that picture. They might like it, but then they're going to move on. They're going to move on to the next thing. So something that I've learned is it really helps to have a link that leads them either to a website, that leads them to sign up for a mailing list, or something that leads them to your profile or your product or service that you offer. And then that kind of leads them down that funnel, so to speak, of what else you have to offer, and captures their attention for a little bit longer. And then hopefully you'll get something like somebody new signing up for your email list, or you'll have somebody visit your website, or you'll have somebody follow you, or you'll have somebody turn on your notifications so they're notified in the future of your posts. So it is just really good to be mindful and to think about the reason why you are promoting certain things.
Like, what is it that you want the viewer to do when they see your post? So that was actually another feature that was with the Meta business advertisements, was that I could decide if the button on the post would bring them to either my website or to my account or to I forget what else, or if they could just like it or comment it. I don't know. There was just different options. I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah.
I think it was just a little bit of a waste of my time. So I didn't do it too often, but there was probably like 5 times where I did it. I used to actually do it with useful mistakes as well when I was doing that a long time ago.
Yeah, so maybe it's something good to experiment with and get your feet wet, but then once you're ready to be a little bit more serious about it and have a little bit more experience with it, then pursue other avenues.
Yeah. Well, I think we could wrap this up. What do you think? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have a few more points.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, go for
Actually.
it. That's fine. I mean, I'm here for it. I was just looking at the time, but we could always just split it into 2 episodes, or who knows, when we
Yeah,
cut
for
it,
sure.
it could
No.
cut down. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to social media, another important aspect of it that came to mind was consistency. To ensure consistency across all of your different channels and to have your social media posts share the same personality, voice, tone, style, colors, fonts, logos, images, themes, topics. I mean, I could go on. I mean, there's like formatting and there's like keywords to keep in mind. There's taglines. Then like also to keep in mind your bio, and also hashtags are really important to keep a consistent image as well as your profile picture. So when somebody is looking for you, they can easily identify you by your profile picture across all of your different social media platforms.
Oh, yeah. So that is something I would never change the serendipity style icon. I always kept it the same color flow. So I feel like everything you said kind of just goes under branding, really just figuring out everything you can about your brand. So that way when you,
That's true.
all your posts follow your brand.
No, you're absolutely right. And I love that this episode kind of works off of and ties into our 3 other episodes that we did on networking. We touched a little bit on branding before. We touched a little bit on several aspects, and it just shows how all those can tie into social media, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
working
then
on
also
right
just
now.
making sure, and then also just making sure that you're also optimizing what you're posting to each platform's strengths. Like Instagram is more picture heavy, TikTok is video heavy, and Instagram's also becoming video heavy because of Reels. And YouTube obviously is very video heavy. Facebook tends to be a little bit more text and photo heavy. So yeah, it's just good to keep in mind what each platform is made for.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to write that down.
Take note.
I'm taking note over here. So, because I'm in the middle of rebranding Serendipity, so I'm really trying to just make sure that I hit all the bases and that once I get back into it, I know exactly everything I need to know about my brand.
Yeah, so just things to keep in mind. And then I know something that you mentioned briefly earlier before we started recording was the use of AI and how that's becoming increasingly popular everywhere for everything. And it is a reality that we are just going to have to learn to adapt to and navigate. And that world is still very new to me. So I'm not going to talk too much about that because I don't really have too much to share or offer. But I do know it's something that we should all keep on the radar and use as a tool to our advantage, just like outsourcing people who can help us with marketing. I believe AI can be used to our benefit without abusing it.
Yes. I think that it is a tool we should keep in mind and we should use it to help us and not let it do too much of our work.
Right. Let it do the mundane things that we don't really want to do. Leave the art and the creativity and all the stuff that humans enjoy to us.
Yes, exactly. Agreed. I don't want to see AI taking jobs from creatives. That's all. I want to see it being used as a tool to help amplify our work.
Definitely. I'm with you on that one.
I'm just clicking my tongue for no fucking reason right now. Wow.
Well, that's all I really had to say. I think that really does touch on a lot of different aspects of social media, how it ties into the world of business and creativity and how people can use it to their advantage.
Yes, I feel, and we don't have to put this in, but I really feel like Serendipity was missing so much with the branding. I don't know if other people could see it, but I could see it. And that's why I'm rebranding it, is there's just so many mistakes I could see throughout it. And that's because I just went for it. I didn't really take time to plan it all out, which I don't mind because I did learn a lot by being a doer and not like wasting, or I shouldn't say wasting, but not taking so much time to just learn. But now it's almost like I'm reverse engineering right now. Now I'm trying to take time to learn everything that I realized that I actually don't know. A huge thing with Serendipity was that it was a little too scattered. I feel like it was very confusing when people would go to my social media and be like, okay, she's selling secondhand and upcycled. Like she designed that. And like, it was just like too many questions. I feel like it wasn't very clear and there was no real niche. It was just me like trying out a bunch of different things. And it is so important to like find your niche. So now I really am kind of soul searching right now and trying to figure out what my fashion designer inventor side of me niche thing I'll figure out it will be.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really cool to see over the next few episodes too, because as we go along with our podcast and everyone listening along with us, we're going to be learning together. And I think that's just a really cool thing to be a part of and to share. So I'm excited to see what you learn and I can't wait to see what you bring to the table.
Thank you, Lexi. Yeah, I think this podcast really is perfect for me at this time and phase in my life because it's provoking. I don't know if provoking is the right word, but it's like kind of making me learn more, which I really need to do. So
yeah, it kind of acts as like an accountability partner in a way.
Yes. It's kind of like it's so weird because it's like I have the experience, but I don't have like the book knowledge. So this is kind of forcing me to have more book knowledge about it.
Yeah, it really helps to talk it out too after you are done reading about something and learning about it, to come and bring it and apply it to real world scenarios. And again, just talk it out and see how it really does apply to the everyday things of business.
Yeah, especially with another human being that also enjoys talking about it. So thank you for existing.
Yeah, no, likewise. And also just coming from two different perspectives, I mean, we both deal in the creative business, but different types of creativity. So it's pretty cool to see our different perspectives and how it ties together or how it may conflict in certain ways. And just the contrast of it all is really cool.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm just so excited we're doing this.
That's it for today's episode of Talk Girlie to Me. If you vibed with it, send it to a friend, rate us 5 stars, and we'll catch you next time. Bye!